Today we're going to talk about why I will no longer be using heat transfer vinyl unless I absolutely have to. If you're anything like me, you have been dubbed the crafty friend and you are responsible for a lot of the party decor. Later this year, I will be going to a bachelorette party in Nashville, and I very happily am in charge of making koozies as well as some tumblers. Basically, at the end of the day, there are two methods to add a design to a koozie. One, using heat transfer vinyl, or what I'm going to show you today, direct to film transfers. So before we get into the actual how-to, it is so super simple. I want to walk you through what is direct to film and why we might want to use it. So first things first, direct to film, or as people like to call it, a DTF transfer. And I know if you're my age at all, that may make you giggle, but we're just talking about direct to film transfers anytime you see the abbreviation DTF. And what you do is basically you upload a design and it gets printed on a special film that would adhere to fabric or any sort of like apparel type thing. But on the other hand, you could use heat transfer vinyl. You would have to cut and weed each individual design, and that's why anytime I'm asked to do something that's more than just a few items, that I will absolutely choose a direct-to-film transfer any day of the week. Not only are you never having to cut or weed any vinyl, you also can choose designs that are a little bit more intricate. Because they're printed on a special film, you don't have to worry too much about, is your machine able to cut it, or are you gonna be like so annoyed while weeding? Because you and I both know that your Cricut machine, your Silhouette machine can only cut so small and so intricate before it just gets to be impossible. I ended up putting this exact same design into Silhouette Studio and doing a cut just to see how long it would take. So I set a timer, I put it through Silhouette Studio, I just cut one of the designs and weeded the entire thing. And it wasn't an overly complicated design, but it ended up taking about 5 minutes just to do one. So 5 minutes per design for 15 designs is about 3 hours and 45 minutes. So that doesn't include any of the pressing, but just the cutting and weeding would take almost 4 hours. In comparison, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do this with a direct-to-film transfer, and I did tally up how long it took me with that, so I can't wait to share how quick and how much time I saved using these transfers. I'm going to show you exactly how to design, upload, and get your direct-to-film transfers from Pro World, as well as how to press it on these can koozies. It is a super easy process, and I can't wait to show you. Make sure you're subscribed, and let's get started. All right, so we are using the Pro World website to get our custom transfers. I have a direct link to this page right underneath this video. I've used these Supacolor screen prints, which are really, really amazing, but the Color Pro DTF is a little bit more affordable and there are no minimums, so that's what we're going to do. And what's really cool about it is that you can either upload your own design or you can design with designs that they already have, which is actually really nice. So if you don't already have a design, you can do it yourself. So if you wanted to use stuff that they have, you'd go to add art and you can kind of browse and put together your designs. So if you wanted to upload an SVG from somewhere like Create a Fabrica or Etsy, you can do that, and then you can resize it. So you could add these individually. You can then like copy it and paste it and make another one. But I do think that there is an easier way. If you're doing like individual images just to fill up the sheet, this is a good route to go. But this sheet is 18 by 22. So another thing you could do is create an 18 by 22 canvas in whatever software that you use. This is Adobe Illustrator, but you could do it in Silhouette Studio or whatever. And it's a little bit easier to fill up and line up and get everything on your sheet this way. And I added another like extra thing because I was like, well, I might as well fill up the sheet, you know? So whatever software you're using, then you can export it as an SVG. And upload the whole thing. So then you're going to go back to the Pro World website and upload the SVG that you just exported. And then this, you can make the same size as the sheet here. And then this is a little bit easier than doing it individually, but obviously whatever works is totally fine. So then I am just going to order one because that's all I need and go through the process of buying and getting it, and it will then be shipped to your house, and it comes really, really fast. You will get an email to approve the proof, and the total ended up being about $30, so it about $2 a piece, but I could have totally filled up the sheet a little bit more and got a little bit more out of this sheet. So that is something to consider as well. The price kind of depends on how many images you get on your sheet. For this tutorial, I'm using these canned koozies from 24 Hour Wristbands, and I will link all of the supplies underneath this video. I got my transfers from Pro World in the mail. I liked that they came in this box so they wouldn't get damaged or bent, and they are rolled up nice and neat, and there are actually directions right on the transfer, so you don't have to look anywhere to figure out what to do. So you can see that it comes in a full sheet, and you've got that transfer material. What I decided to do was trim down the sheet so I could work with each design individually. What I like about these direct-to-film transfer sheets is that they lay out really nicely, and you really don't have to worry about your vinyl or your transfer curling up and being weird. So what I did was cut these out individually. I am not worried about straight lines. I'm not worried about the size. All I need to do is cut out each design so I can actually place them on each of the koozies that I'm going to make. It was a really simple process. Cutting these and prepping them took a total of about 4 minutes, so it was a lot easier than the other method of using heat transfer vinyl. And then it was time to actually press the designs. So you can see as I place my transfer on the koozie, it's a little bit like bouncy, if you will. So because of the nature of this being a koozie, I ended up using my sublimation heat tape to tape the designs in place. I basically did them one at a time, measuring them up next to each other to make sure that they all look really similar, you know, for picture purposes. You want them all to kind of be in the same general area. So I will say, like, this is optional, and I've not had to do this on any other types of apparel. It's just the nature of the material and just like the thickness of the koozie. So I took a few minutes to tape down each design. I just felt better about them being secure. You can also see that my heat press is actually a 16 by 20. So I was able to fit all of the koozies on and only had to press once. You might have to take it in shifts depending on how big your press is. You'll need to preheat your press to 300 degrees, and it will only be in there for 15 seconds. I am using my Trans Pro Plus heat press, which I literally cannot recommend enough, but whatever you have will work. So once it's done, you will then hot peel off each of your designs. Just remember to be careful, but they cool down pretty quickly and they look literally flawless. I absolutely love these transfers, but you will see as I peel away the design. Again, this is specific to the koozie. You can see that there are some lines from the transfer, like from the paper and the tape. So what I did was I took my Teflon sheet and put it over the designs and pressed again for an additional 10 seconds. It's not necessary to get the design to stick, but it did help kind of create that seamless, flawless design. I'm obsessed with them, and they turned out so good. The total time it took me to make these was a grand total of 27 minutes. Pro World is my absolute go-to for transfers and all things sublimation. So if you are still one of those people using heat transfer vinyl, especially when you have to make more than one of something or a repeatable item, you probably have a small business of your own, and you might need a little bit of guidance when it comes to running that small business. So if that's you, or if you're interested in selling your items, I am starting a whole craft business series here on my channel. So make sure you subscribe and you can watch the first video up on your screen right now.